day, Rusk enjoys. Hope you're alright, because it's time for the Rust rotation. Now, as you might see, today's Rust rotation actually, happened later. It wasn't super early this week, so alright, cool. But, in regards to what got accepted today, I will ask you, please comment below, what's your most favourite skin this week? Because, judging by the responses I've seen today, it seems to be, Do you understand? I'm not upset, but I'm also not super enthusiastic. And I will sit here and say, in my predictions video, it might be pretty quick this week. Let's just say that. So, okay, cool. But if you're kind of surprised by the choice of skins today, if you think, well, why have they done a tame Rust or? Are you aware of what's happening in June? So don't worry, I'm going to reveal to you something interesting that's happening for the second week of June in a second. But yep, there's a later Rust rotation. It's fine. Let's go ahead and just quickly point out of all these skins, which one happens to be abnormal? Or rather, it might be easier just to point out the one skin this week that's not abnormal. That being the Crypt Barricade. So, yep, that's just selling for the standard price. But that, of course, means all the other skins you see here will be chasing after them next week. Alright? Now, of course, if you don't fully understand what abnormals are, every single week we have a certain batch of skins that are going to become marketable for the Rust even rotates, and we can jump in early and try and figure out what prices we might want to offer and get some early barders down. And then after that, we can then realise, oh, hang on a minute, this skin actually looks as if it could retain its value. So basically, after last night, I might have jumped in and bought a few skins, you know, yeah, felt pretty confident, but doing the abnormal barders helped me out. So if you're not learning about that, if you want to get involved with Ruskin investing, consider watching the first 5 minutes of this video, Ruskin Abnormal Barders for May 21, 2026. Skip ahead to the actual barders, and then of course, listen to the Abnormal Barder support, listen as I go through the skins, and actually question, could they actually retain their value, could they be nice investments? So, alright, cool, we got that all nice and addressed. So, overall, yeah, it's fine. Again, there's some interesting collection continuations. Could something have potentially influenced the choices? Because, you know, if you're always aware of what's been submitted over the past weekends and whatnot, which of course you can see in micro522.com, you might have noticed that we didn't see some very high scoring skins. So this is the snapshot of all the skins as they're accepted. So the very second they are announced to be in the brand new Rust store, a snapshot takes place. This is the accepted section in micro522.com. So honestly, not looking too bad in terms of the upvote to downvote ratio. But if you've ever questioned, do your votes matter when you vote for a skin on the Rust Workshop? No. The Oasis bed, for example, only had 23 votes in total. The Flow Pump Shotgun only had 23 votes in total. So, it's literally just down to face punch, whether they like it or not. Now, if I could just quickly hop over to here and showcase this to you, by default, this is what you see when you hop over to micro522.com. It, by default, will rank all the skins in terms of overall score. Now, this score system is actually implemented by default through Steam. So it's not like Facepunch sets it up this way. This is actually through Steam. And as you might notice, yeah, the No Mercy Electric Furnace, that scored quite nicely. It was the 10th highest scoring skin out of all the submissions this past weekend, though. We have the likes of the Popstar DJ at the very top with a very high score and a lot of votes, a lot of interest. You also happen to have the Heatseeker Waterpipe Shotgun, the Naval Camo Jacket, the Jukebox Fridge, Space Sheep in the Door. I'm sure I got the point across. So now you might be sitting there wondering, okay, well, what happens now? Chances are you probably would have wanted some of those skins to be accepted today. True. But just because it wasn't accepted this week doesn't necessarily mean it won't be accepted next week. And then, of course, after that, next week after that, we have the June 4 swipe. But then, for the second week of June, I'd like to confirm to you that we have a Complete the Sets Rust store. Yep, it has been confirmed. The skin creators in the official Rust Skin Making Discord, which is actually linked in the description of this video right now, it has been confirmed that there's going to be a Complete the Sets Rust store for the second week of June 2026. Maybe we might have 2 weeks. We'll see. But the skin creators have been told you can take a week off. You also might happen to notice the brand new Skinnable just so happens to be the auto turret. Oh, God. What strange things are we going to see being made? What collection would you like to see making a skin for this? And what absolutely unique idea could you think of that could get turned into a skin? Because I really was not expecting that. But then again, if you're aware of the proposed industrial DLC, you should be aware that there's a skin in that pack. So I guess they probably realised, well, if we're going to make a skin for this, we might as well make it skinnable for the skin creators to work with. So, alright, cool. Keep an eye out for Twitch drops and kick drops in the future as well. Ooh. Alright then, cool. So, do keep in mind, all the skin submissions we've seen this past weekend, they're definitely eligible for like the next 3 Rust stores, okay? Especially the ones that are, part of a collection. And pretty much all the skins you see here are part of a collection. So, alright, cool. Other than that, let's now hop in game, get a good look at all these skins, and you can tell me how much you happen to like them or not. And here we are, outside, with nature. And if I could just pull down here a bit, I'll be showcasing the deployable skins first of all. And more specifically, first of all, I'm here to showcase the No Mercy Electric Furnace. So that's a perfectly fine look and design. Get a good look at that. Let's also go around here. Get a nice clean look at the insignia. Let me just go ahead and move the sun around so we can get a much better look. So you can see the shine. There we are. So yeah, we see that in pretty much every single No Mercy skin. I'm not surprised to see that this was accepted. Pretty much with every brand new skinnable, we have in fact seen the No Mercy skin being accepted. Except the Salvaged X, but you never know. Maybe we'll see that with, well, I don't know, maybe a ice pick at the same time at some point in the future. Ooh, keep an eye out. Nighttime look. Got the lights on nearby. Now, I did show this off in the recent preview video for the week when I was looking at the Rust Workshop. It does have some shine to it. It does have some reflection. But does that ultimately really matter that much for a furnace? I mean, you can offer your opinion if you want. Let's just get a good look at this in total darkness. Now I can confirm to you, it lights up perfectly fine. But even a standard electric furnace would light up perfectly fine. At the very least, I will sit here and say, the 2 sides that aren't like open, where you can't see the inside and whatnot, they don't light up or anything. So it's not exactly like a glow-in-the-dark sort of furnace, but it still emits its own light and all that, so yeah, you get the idea. Anyway, it's fine for what it is. I'm not sure if that's going to be the most in-demand design, and by all means you can offer your opinion, compared to the Pirate Furnace, compared to the Neon Furnace. Which one's your favourite so far? But do bear in mind, there will be more, right? So, alright, cool. Let's see if that works out nicely. Now over to here, we've actually got ourselves a pretty interesting looking bed. Do you notice the stars here? The stars have some very creative use of transparency. Do you see that? That's what the duvet was, and the pillow. The skin crater, well, it seems they've cut out everything else. They made some star shapes, and they made it have like a pretty cool looking 3D effect. At night time, it all glows in the dark ever so nicely. So yep, you've got the floating stars there. That's a very clever touch. That does look cool. Are you a fan of the Oasis collection? Whilst we've had quite a decent amount of skins being accepted, in terms of price, they haven't really held up that well. Now, of course, that'll be more of a discussion for the predictions video, but typically when you look at like the price of skins after a while, it kind of helps trying to figure out whether they're actually in demand and whatnot. But for what it is, an interesting, nice looking bed design. Are you impressed? Do you like what you see? Right, so that's all nice and dandy, but let's now switch over to this side and let's start taking a look at these crypt style skins. Now, more specifically, this quite literally is a crypt theme skin. As you can see here, the crypt concrete barricade, a perfectly fine looking addition. Now, I will just sit here and say, how often are you using a concrete barricade? Well, you know what, at the very least, let me just sit here and say, for Halloween this year, we're getting some pretty cool looking skins. So, it really wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if people are going to start using crypt building skin with a lot of interesting looking doors, for example. But this does line up quite nicely with it, as you'll notice. And this is, in fact, a collection continuation to the recent sheet metal door that we saw. Now, you might question, hey, does it glow in the dark or anything? Well, if I could just quickly showcase to you, no glow. So, alright, cool. I mean, the door didn't glow. Makes sense that this doesn't glow. But would you like to have, like, the eyeballs light up and whatnot? Hey, feel free to offer your opinion. But for what it is, alright, cool. What would you like to see being made next? Personally, I would like to see a crypt sheet metal double door. I think that would be a very cool idea. Now, considering we have a pretty cool looking garage door that slots in quite nicely with the crypt building skin. Look at that. Look at that. If you weren't fully well aware, for the past 3-4 weeks in the Rust workshop, the skin creator kept making a different design. You might notice this design actually lines up very nicely with the previous sheet metal door and the sheet metal double door. The window design I'm talking specifically about. He was doing something different with the first couple versions. Then he went back and did something very similar like we saw with the previous doors. Boom, it's accepted. So that's quite funny. Just like to point out, with the lights on nearby at night time, it's quite reflective to a point. It's not super reflective, but alright, cool. You get the idea. Now, in total darkness, I can confirm to you it lights up very nicely. And I know some people will be asking, hey, when it's rolled up, does it happen to glow in the dark as well? Well, don't worry, I'll showcase that to you in a second. But yep, get a good look at that. A perfectly fine, somewhat spooky design. And now I turn over to here. I can confirm to you it does happen to glow like a very faint amount. Do you notice a bit of coloration right there? What do you mean right there? Well, let me just... So you see the middle portion here, right? Look at that specifically. You'll notice a little bit of colour. So, now, as I move, do you notice how it's got a little bit of colour right there? Do you see it? Right, so that's some very, 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 very faint glow. Does that really matter? Probably not, but some people are asking me. I just wanted to make a point that I can see it. So, all right, cool. But I've got torches to the side, so, well, what are they for? Oh. Oh, okay. So I stand by my point. Halloween this year is going to have quite a lot to work with, oh yes. Spooky cultist torches. Lined up perfectly with the Gothic Veil garage door. What's your opinion, huh? Do you like what you see? Well, now we'll make it properly night time. We'll give this a good look in the... a little bit further away, and yeah, I think that looks nice. So, I know we've had like a lot of garage doors this year and all that, but I certainly hope we see some very cool looking designs that line up very nicely with the crypt building skin. Of course, I've also put down some of the Halloween tree roots, wallpaper, floor paper. It's technically wallpaper anyway. Put that in the floor there, and yeah, I think that might, makes a pretty cool looking scene. So, feel free to comment below your thoughts. And now, let's pull away from here, turn around, and get a good look at the clothing and the armour for the week. Right then, so, Hellcore bandana and poncho, along with the Berserker gloves. First of all, you might notice these gloves happen to reflect quite a bit. It's supposed to be more of a metallic design. So, okay. Not super flashy and super in your face. From just a bit of a distance away, it's not exactly like super obvious, it's like shiny. But what about the poncho and the bandana? So based on what I'm looking at here, I will sit here and say it does kind of look pretty goofy with a welly boots hat. Maybe I should take that off in a second. But I do like they have a bit of transparency here, so you've got like the teeth sticking out. That's looking pretty cool. But I do recall with the recent hoodie and pants, people were a little bit concerned because it did look as if it was quite reflective. You don't really seem to notice it that much with the poncho, or at least that's my opinion. You can offer your own. But let me just quickly take off that hat. There we are. Right, let's get nice and close. Zoom out a little bit. So, opinions, please. What do you think? I'll offer my opinion. Where's the tier 3? Where's the tier 2? Well, maybe it's just being put to the side for complete the sets. If we were to see it being accepted for that, I wouldn't be upset. I'll be fine with that. Is it going to happen? I know for a fact there's a lot of people out there that are desperate for like Temple tier 2 and all that. So, oh, it's going to get real annoying, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But, yeah, I'm fine with what we see here. Yeah, it's looking pretty sweet. So it's nice to see some additions. It is a bit odd, though, that we went from hoodie and pants to primitive skins. But it wouldn't be the first time we've had something like that happen. So the hoodie and pants have still jumped up a fair bit today in terms of their price. But, again, that's for the predictions video. Let's go ahead and look at this a little bit more again. So this time, night time. Without the hat on, again, we'll look at the gloves a little bit more. Yeah, that's fine. But does any of it happen to glow in the dark or anything? I can confirm to you no. I don't see any glow. All right. So no concerns in that regard. All right. So feel free to comment below and offer your opinion. And now, let's go ahead and showcase those weapon skins. Okay, let's go ahead and showcase the weapon skins, and ooh, right, well, we've got ourselves a transparent aim sight and a custom SMG. And I will point this out. In the past, we have seen quite a decent amount of these being accepted. I recall we've had the Ruin SMG, had Hellcore. Wasn't the Ghost Halloween one from last year also a transparent aim sight? Anyway, all three of those custom SMGs have retained their value quite nicely, and they did sell for higher prices. This right here, though, $3. $3. Oh. I mean, if we do have tame sales this week, maybe it might not be too ridiculous on the Steam market, but that's something we'll discuss in the predictions video. Anyway, let's just give that a nice little reload. I will ask you, would you like to see this potentially turn into a weapon collection? What weapon skin would you like to see being made next? Feel free to offer your opinion. Feel free to comment below. Also, nighttime look. Is it super easy to see at nighttime? Is it super visible? Well, I'll be honest with you. I can't really see the aim sight very well. So, alright then, lots of interesting colours and whatnot. But I can't see it super easily. At the very least, let's get up nice and close. Observe it in third person. But yeah, it's got an interesting start to it. It's pretty cool. It's got a colour scheme we don't really see that much of. Pink, yellow, green, what? So, okay. Maybe we'll see an AK. A SAR. SAP, you name it. Let's see what the skin creator produces over the course of this upcoming weekend. Right then, let's also go ahead. Look at this at on stage at night time. Looking pretty reflective there, not too bad. Let's also strike a pose. So like I said, as of recent, we have seen quite a decent amount of these transparent aim sight custom SMGs. But that's also a point to be aware of. We're seeing more and more of them being accepted. It's becoming less special, perhaps. So just because the other ones worked out perfectly fine in terms of retaining their value, this one's still a bit questionable. But again, a lack of sales, well, it might put it in a more interesting position. Right then, so we'll leave it at that then. Let's now move on and showcase the pump shotgun. So let's just strike a pose, get a good look at it in third person. Say hello to Kuba's second ever skin to be accepted. That is a shiny looking pump shotgun. But do be aware, much like the electric furnace, we are expecting another pump shotgun next week, okay? At the very least, I will point this out. This actually has transparency in the back. I guess I'll look inside my hand, but yeah, you'll never be able to notice it. But yeah, that's interesting, I guess you could say. At least when you put it on a weapon rack, you'll be able to spot that, but you wouldn't be able to see through it. Anyway, so that's a perfectly fine looking pump shotgun. Let's go ahead, aim down, standard sight. Still shoots good. Give that a nice little reload. And of course, nighttime look. Is it super visible? I mean, no, not really. But then again, you're probably just staring at doors at nighttime waiting for someone to walk out. You're probably not even aiming down. Right, okay then. So let's go over to here. Let's give that a nice... Oh, yeah, that's nice and shiny. Well then, Kuba, I guess we could look forward to a brand new weapon collection. Do you think you have what it takes? What would the people watching this video right now ask to see next? You got an interesting silvery blue tint to it there. Look at that. Look at that. I think an AK-47 would look pretty sweet. But again, you the viewer, feel free to comment below. Offer your opinion. I'm sure he'll be watching. I'm sure he'll read the comments. So best of luck to you. Let's keep an eye out for what they produce on the workshop this weekend. And now, let's go ahead and showcase this handmade LMG. We got ourselves another Bird of Luck skin at $2.49. It is the Bird of Luck handmade LMG. So, yep, nice and colourful. A lovely looking skin for the eyes. It shoots lovely. Yes, yes. No hidden, like, Easter egg there. You could have hidden like a little bird in there. Could have hid a little bird in there. Come on, the opportunity is right there. Alright, anyway, third person view. Let's go ahead and get a good look at this. So we've seen quite a lot of Bird of Luck skins being accepted over the past couple of years. But it's a weapon-only collection, and, well, again, that should be for the predictions video, but I will point out none of them have retained their value very nicely. There have been some very cool attempts for some deployables. I recall we've seen a very nice looking large box, lovely looking garage door, but it seems Facepunch only wants weapon skins from this collection, so yeah, alright, cool, understandable. Right, nighttime look. Is it visible? I can vaguely see it, but it's not like super in my face and whatnot, so okay, not like, might not be the most best and whatnot, but okay, fair enough then. Well, let's go on stage. Get a good look at it at the very least. Are you shiny? Are you reflective? Not really. I am noticing that. And then over to here. Get a good look at that. If there were a weapon that you'd like to see being made next with this collection, what would you like to see? Because we do have quite a lot, don't we? So, alright then. But don't you think it'd look really cool for, you know, like a garage door and all that? I mean, it's been produced. Maybe we could see one of those skins being accepted in the upcoming Complete the Sets roster. We'll see, we'll see. But props to the skin creator. They've been consistent. They've been putting out some very nice looking skins over the past couple of years. Let's see what gets made next. Keep an eye on the Rust Workshop. Alright, let's try and wrap up this video. So I've said this quite a lot throughout. Do consider keeping an eye on the Rust Workshop. I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing a lot of interesting collection continuations appearing. But in regards to the ones that have appeared this past weekend and even before that, they are viable to potentially be accepted for the next 3 Rust stores. Collection continuations, of course, perfectly viable for Complete the Sets. And yes, we have seen some somewhat recent additions. You know, so basically recent collection continuations being produced in the Rust Workshop still being added for Complete the Sets. Whilst Complete the Sets usually has very late skin acceptances, you get the idea. I will have to make a video specifically talking about this. Don't you worry. So, alright, cool. At the very least, if you don't really put the effort into looking at all the Rust Workshop skins that have been submitted, notably the collection continuations, I make my Rust Workshop skin check videos right here. So the most recent video, May 19, 2026, we saw a lot of collection continuations. But of course, with this week, this Rust store this week, we saw a lot of early picks this week. So some very notable skins you might see here. Well, they appeared in the Rust store. And we did discuss, could they potentially lead to nice investments? If you're interested in that, consider giving that a good watch. Now, in regards to brand new content, lots of stuff being mentioned in regards to industrial DLC. But honestly, overall, nothing else seems to be getting that, like, you know, mentioned that much more and whatnot. So, if you weren't fully well aware, it is expected that the industrial DLC should be ready for June Force White. And I'll also give a nice little shout out to Mr. Protox. He's already made a video showcasing all the brand new content. Notably in this, we happen to have a bolus crossbow, which has led to transparent crossbow prices dropping off. Oh boy. So, yeah, consider giving that a good watch. Like, there's a lot of content in this. But do take note, it's going to probably cost about $15. So if you're, like, salivating over the idea of a completely transparent crossbow that is the bolus crossbow, it's still going to cost at least $15, but you do get a lot in there. So consider giving it a good watch. I'll link this tweet in the description of this video, and of course the video link is right there as well, so you get the idea. Cool. Right, so hopping out of here then. In regards to player count, we still have 2 more weekends to go through for the rest of this month. I believe May will still manage to hold up and stay above 100,000 average player count. I think that'll still happen. I wonder how many people we're going to start seeing in June. I will sit here and say, for Rust at the very least, June, July, August, they're the summer months. I know around the world, in your like regions and whatnot, the seasons are different, but at least for Rust, in terms of the player counts we see, we're now entering the summer months. So, okay, cool. If you care about the prices of your Rust skins and whatnot, well, if there's more people playing, there's more demand for skins, they're, you know, better skin prices. I do discuss this in another video over to here. To our surprise, we have seen a lot of prices go up regardless, super early. So if you're interested, consider giving that a good watch. I also put out the warning, maybe we might see a dip in June. So again, I know it's more like prediction stuff and whatnot, but I know some of you care. So, alright, cool. Now we'll wrap up the video. Talking about Complete the Sets, I will have a video dedicated to talking about this specifically, but I will link the Complete the Sets candidates collection in the description of this video. Consider giving this a good look. There's a lot of interesting candidates right here, but they're mainly there as representatives of their collection. So, for example, if I scroll down, what do I see? Oh, I don't know, maybe Apotheosis of War Armored Door. Yep. Whilst that itself was a perfectly fine candidate, what you ought to do is go down here, look for the collection, and you also notice recently there's also a sheet metal double door, there's 2 fridges, all of that's also candidates as well. So, all right, cool. Look at it that way, and you'll understand we actually have a lot more available. There's over 240 skins right here, and then, of course, there's the collections behind them. So what potentially could be accepted could be anything right here. And as we slowly dabble down into the clothing and the armor, everybody notices the temple clothing and armor, and then they're going to start spamming it in the comment section, and they keep screaming for it. They keep screaming for it. Lower your expectations. Sorry, but you know. I mean, I'd be surprised if they actually do it. What happened to all the people that are begging for flashbacks, huh? Well, here you go. So, all right, consider giving a good look. I've added a few more skins from notable collections that we've seen this year as well. What could be accepted? Well, just got to wait and see. Thank you very much for watching the video. I greatly appreciate it. Catch you later. See you and goodbye.